first, ano ba yung meaning ng consumer goods and services? So sabi, these are products or services that are directly used by people to satisfy their wants. So kumbaga, ito yung mga goods and service na directly mabibili natin sa market. And pwede na natin agad siyang gamitin. While yung producer goods and services, ito naman yung mga ginagamit para makapag-produce ng ginagamit ng mga tao or yung kinoconsume ng mga tao na goods and commodity. Kumbaga ito yung mga ingredients or yung mga raw materials na kailangan para makapag-produce ng isang certain commodity or product. So next naman natin is necessities and luxuries. So for our necessities, ito naman yung products na kumbaga kailangan natin sa pang-araw-araw na buhay to support human life and activities. So kahit mag-vary man yung price nito, magbago man or magkaroon man ng inflation, gagawa natin to ng paraan para ma-afford kasi this is the basic na human needs or kailangan natin sa daily lives. So, can you give me an example ng necessities? Sino makakapagbigay ng example ng necessities? Yes, Casey.
Sir, food po.
Okay, food. Miko.
Water po.
Okay, water. Elijah.
Sir, magpo-fall po ba sa services po? Ano po? Gas po.
Okay, pwede rin. Kailangan natin yan. Jorich. Jed.
Shelter po.
Okay, shelter. Christian.
Clothings po.
Okay, clothings. Maria Andrea.
Electricity po.
Okay, electricity. France.
Sir, clothes po.
Okay, clothes. Nelsie.
Sir, transportation po.
Okay, transportation. Precious.
Sir, healthcare po.
Yes, healthcare. So those are examples ng necessities natin. And yung mga luxuries naman, ito naman yung mga products or services that we avail kapag meron tayong extra money. Kapag na-obtain na natin yung mga needs natin or necessities. So ito yung mga gusto lang natin para sa ating buhay. Pero not exactly necessary na kailangan natin siya. So pwedeng magbigay naman kayo ngayon ng luxuries. Yes, France. Miko.
Jewelries po.
Okay, jewelries. Cheska.
Designer bags po.
Okay, designer bags. John Danlet.
Accessories po.
Okay, accessories. Giancarlo Fuliga.
28 luxurious cars.
Yes, isa yan. Christian.
Skincare.
Okay, sige, skincare. Pwede rin. Abigail.
Sir, yung fine dining po.
Okay, fine dining. Wala magsasabi ng Rolls Royce. Okay, so yan yung some example natin ng luxuries. And then next po natin is yung demand. So yung demand naman natin, ito yung quantity of a certain commodity that is bought at a certain price at a given place and time. So dito po sa demand, meron tayong tatlong classification. So yung una is yung elastic demand. Ito ay nangyayari kapag nagkaroon ng certain decrease sa price ng product or commodity para magkaroon ng greater proportionate increase in sale. Kumbaga, let's say, syempre, kung meron kang competitors sa isang product na ibinebenta mo, bababaan mo yung price para mas marami yung bumili sa'yo. So, ganun yung elastic demand. And then next po natin is yung inelastic demand. Kapag inelastic demand naman yung pinag-uusapan, bababaan mo naman yung price ng iyong product or commodity and it will produce a less than proportionate increase in sales. So, not necessary na kaya mo binibaan yung price ay para mas marami yung bumili sa'yo. Usually, ito ay ginagawa nating inelastic demand kapag or isinesale natin yung isang product kapag gusto na lang nating maubos yung product itself. And then next natin is yung unitary elasticity of demand. So ito naman ay occurring when mathematical product of volume and price is constant. So sa madaling sabi ay yung volume ng demand or yung demand is always na constant, hindi siya nagbabago, mapa kung anumang seasons yung dumaan, and yung price niya is also constant. Kung magkaroon man ng changes is very minimal lang. And then next naman is discuss natin yung competition, monopoly, and oligopoly. So for perfect competition, this is a situation where a commodity or service is supplied by a number of vendors and there is nothing to prevent additional vendors entering the market. So ang example po natin ng perfect competition, let's say pumunta ka sa palengke. So makikita naman natin doon, tabi-tabi yung mga vendors ng nagbebenta ng the same product. So tabi-tabi yung mga nagbebenta ng bigas, ng gulay, ng chicken or meat, and then ng mga fish. So sila ay isang example ng perfect competition. And dito sa perfect competition, kahit merong isang vendor na hindi magbenta for the meantime, ay hindi ito magkakaroon ng effect to the overall supply and overall price sa market. Kasi marami yung nagsusupply ng isang product or commodity. And then next naman natin is yung monopoly, which is exactly the opposite of the perfect competition. So kapag monopoly naman, meron lang single vendor na nagpo-produce ng unique product or service, and that vendor can prevent the entry of all others into the market. So ibig sabihin ng example nito ay let's say yung electricity natin. So dito sa Batangas City, ang nagsusupply lang po ng electricity is Meralco. So parang kumbaga nakakontract na sila lang yung supplier ng electricity dito. And then kung pupunta naman tayo sa ibang municipalities and cities of Batangas, ang nagsusupply naman ng electricity is Batelec. Let's say Batelec 1 or Batelec 2, may branches pa yan. So ganun po yung monopoly. Parang sila lang yung nag-offer na yon ng isang product or service sa isang certain area. And then next natin is yung ating oligopoly. So kapag oligopoly naman yung pinag-uusapan natin, dito ay meron tayong few competitors or few suppliers of a product or service that action by one will almost inevitably result in similar action by the others. So ang example naman po natin dito is yung ating internet service provider. So dito sa Batangas City, ang meron tayong internet service provider is Globe, PLDT, Smart, SIDC, Asian Vision, etc. So yan yung some examples ng nagbibigay ng internet service sa buong Batangas City. Pero kung mapapansin natin, ang kanilang mga offers is almost the same. And yung kanilang mga pricing ay halos pare-pareho lang. Kasi yun nga, nagkakaroon sila ng competition between each other, and kung alin yung mas service na angat, yun yung kukunin ng mismong consumer. So yun yung difference between the three. So naunawaan ba yung tatlong yon? Okay. And then next natin is yung atin pong supply. So kapag supply naman yung pinag-uusapan natin, ito yung quantity of a certain commodity that is offered for sale at a certain price at a given place and time. And meron tayong tinatawag na law of supply and demand, which states that under conditions of perfect competition, the price at which a given product will be supplied or and purchased is the price that will result in the supply and demand being equal. So sa ibig sabihin nito, let's say for an example, noong earlier stages po ng ating pandemic. So mabenta or nagkaroon ng protocol na kailangan magsuot ng face mask and face shield. So that time tumaas yung demand ng face mask and face shield, pero hindi pa ganun karami yung supplier or nagbebenta ng face mask and face shield. So ang tendency ay mataas ang price before ng face mask and face shield kumpara sa price ng face mask and face shield ngayon. Kasi konti lang yung supplier pero mataas yung demand. And then nung nagkaroon naman ng bagong protocol na hindi na required na magsuot ng face mask and face shield ang lahat kasi medyo humupa na yung pandemic, bumaba naman na yung demand ng face mask. Pero dito na nga nagsulputan yung iba't ibang suppliers kasi noon ay mataas yung demand. Ang tendency tuloy ay kailangan nilang ibaba yung price ng face mask and face shield para maibenta nila sa mga consumers. So ganun po yung law of supply and demand. And then next po natin is yung ating law of diminishing returns. So ito naman ay when the use of one of the factors of production is limited, either in increasing costs or by absolute quantity, a point will be reached beyond which an increase in the variable factors will result in a less than proportionate increase in the output. So try po natin ito sa ating example dito. So, kung makikita po natin, meron tayong figure 1.5 which is the performance curve of an electric motor. So, makikita natin dito sa horizontal ng ating graph ay yung input in kilowatts, while dun sa vertical is yung ating output in kilowatts. So, kung titingnan natin siya sa graph, kung titingnan natin yung input ng 4 kilowatts ng electric motor, mapapansin natin na ang output niya in kilowatts is less than 3 lang. So, kumbaga, pwede nating sabihin na yung atin pong actual increase in the input is greater than proportional. Beyond this point, yung output is less than proportional, and yung fixed input factor is yung mismong electric motor. So, ganun po yung ating law of diminishing returns. And then, next natin is yung ating cost terminology. So, ito is very important na malaman natin yung iba't ibang costs kasi it differs with the frequency, magnitude, and degree of impact. And yung una natin pag-uusapang tatlo is yung fixed cost, variable cost, and incremental cost. So, syempre yung fixed cost, from the word itself na fixed, hindi nababago yung kanyang cost kahit pa magkaroon ng changes in the activity level or sa production ng mismong goods and services. So, ang isang example po ng ating fixed costs is yung mga insurance and taxes on facilities, general management and administrative salaries, license fees, and interest costs on borrowed capital. So let's say nasa isa kang business expenditure, so kahit tumaas yung kita mo sa iyong business or kahit ikaw ay lumago yung iyong business, fix na yung iyong ipapasahod sa iyong mga employees or sa iyong management and administrative salaries. Regardless man kung magkaroon ka man ng change in production, kung mas madami yung iyong ipoproduce na product than before, so yun yung fixed cost natin. And then next naman natin is yung variable cost. Ito naman ay nakadepende sa number of output or kung ilan yung ipoproduce mong service and commodity. So, ang isang example nito is yung cost of material and labor. So, kung sorry. So, kung ikaw ay nagpo-produce ng let's say 1,000 chairs kada month, and then tataasan mo yung production, mas tataas yung cost ng material and labor na iyong magagastos. Ano? Kasi mas madami kang ipoproduce na chairs dun sa expected mo monthly. Pero ang mismong cost nung mismong product or commodity will stay the same. And then next naman natin is yung incremental cost or incremental revenue. So kapag incremental cost or incremental revenue naman po yung pinag-uusapan natin, ito yung additional cost that results from increasing an output of a system by one or more units. So ayun, nabanggit natin kanina ay meron tayo kunwaring production ng 1,000 chairs per month. So kung nag-decide ka or napansin mo mataas yung demand or mas marami yung bumibili sa'yo than before, and you decided na produce 1,200 chairs monthly, yung additional cost na magagastos mo for the additional 200 chairs, yun yung doon papasok yung incremental cost. Ano? And then yung variable cost naman doon is yung mismong cost ng material and labor overall doon sa 1,200 chairs. So, nagets po yun? Okay. And then next naman natin is yung direct, indirect, and standard costs. Ano? So kapag direct costs ang pinag-uusapan, of course, ito yung mga costs na directly related in producing the product or commodity. Ano? So, yun, example, yung mga materials na kailangan mo in producing a certain pair of scissors. So, part siya ng ating direct costs. And then, ang atin naman pong indirect cost, so ito is difficult to allocate to a specific output or work activity. Kasi these are costs that allocated through a selected formula to the outputs or work activities. So the cost of common tools, general supplies, and equipment maintenance in a plant are treated as indirect costs. Since wala siyang direct involvement on the producing or production of the product or service, kaya part siya ng indirect cost. Ano? So later meron din akong example pa. And then next natin is yung ating overhead cost. So kapag overhead cost naman, ito yung operating costs that are not direct labor or direct material costs. So yun nga, example, kunwari you are working sa isang construction project. Ano? So syempre ang mga direct costs doon sa construction project natin is yung mga materials na gagamitin natin for construction, yung mga sahod ng laborers, foremans, engineers na magiging involved dun sa construction project. Ayan. So, part siya ng ating direct cost. While yung indirect cost naman dun sa mismong project natin is, let's say, yung maintenance ng mga equipment na gagamitin mo for the construction project. So, part yun ng ating indirect cost. Kasi hindi naman siya literal na gagamitin natin dun sa mismong construction. Pero, part siya ng cost kasi kailangan natin ng maintenance, and also kung i-maintain natin, meron ding maintenance yung mismong construction site, so part din siya ng ating indirect cost. And then kapag overhead cost naman yung pag-uusapan natin, so ang possible na pwedeng mapasama dito is yung syempre meron ka mga laborers. So, saan titigil yung laborers mo? So, kung magre-rent ka ng titigilan nila na malapit doon sa construction site, so yung rent na yon is part ng ating overhead cost. Also, part din ng overhead cost natin is yung utilities, kagaya ng electricity and ng ating water consumption na magagamit ng mga tauhan. And also, kung meron kang empleyado or inihire na HR administrative staff na magpapasahod dun sa mga laborers, so yung salary ng HR staff is part ng ating overhead cost. And then next is yung standard cost. So kapag standard cost, these are planned costs per unit of output that are established in advance of actual production or service delivery. So ang example naman, balikan natin yung example kanina sa construction. So ang part naman ng standard cost doon is yung mga cost ng materials. Kasi syempre, nag-prepare ka ng bill of quantities bago yung mismong construction project. So nakalatag na doon kung ilan yung gagamitin na materyales doon sa mismong construction, and nakalagay na din doon kung magkano yung mismong cost nito. So yun yung ating standard cost. Naunawaan po ba yon? Okay, next natin is cash cost and book cost. So kapag cash cost naman, it involves payment of cash. So when you purchase something na or a product or commodity, ito ay through cash payment only and are estimated from the perspective established for the analysis and future expenses incurred for the alternatives being analyzed. And then next po natin is yung ating book cost. So kapag book cost yung pinag-uusapan, it does not involve cash payments but rather represent the recovery of past expenditures over a fixed period of time. So kumbaga itong book cost natin ay opposite to ng ating cash cost kasi ang ang uh, ang payment dito is hindi po cash payment, and yung example for this is yung ating depreciation charge for the used asset. So kumbaga yung mga nagastos before sa isang mismong ginamit mong product or commodity. And then next po natin is yung ating sunk cost. So kapag sunk cost naman yung pinag-uusapan natin, there is no relevance to the estimates of future costs and revenues related to an alternative course of action. So example ng ating sunk cost, kunwari nanood ka ng movie sa SM. And then syempre bumili ka ng movie ticket. So ang price ng movie ticket ngayon is around kunwari 330 pesos. So upon watching the movie, so syempre ang goal natin para kapag nanood tayo is para mag-enjoy tayo or magustuhan natin yung movie, masatisfy tayo. And then upon watching the movie, natapos mo yung movie, hindi mo na-meet yung expectation ng mismong pinanood mo. Hindi ka nag-enjoy or you found the movie boring. So possibly since hindi na-meet yung mismong goal nung iyong pag-purchase ng movie ticket, papasok yung iyong binili or yung mismong ginastos na pera sa movie ticket sa sunk cost. Kasi na kahit na magkaroon ka ng alternative course of action or kahit halimbawa nagstay ka doon sa sinihan and pinanood mo uli, hindi masasatisfy nun or mabibigay nun yung iyong expectation or hindi na marireach nun yung iyong mismong goal, and hindi na nito mababalik yung iyong nagastos dun sa movie ticket. And then next natin is yung ating opportunity cost. So kapag opportunity cost, ito naman is yung kabaliktaran ng ating sunk cost. Kasi ang opportunity cost natin is ito yung mga cost na ginagastos natin na possibly na magkaroon ng greater value on the future. Ano? Kasi ang example po ng ating opportunity cost is let's say education. Yung mga nagagastos po ninyo sa inyong mga miscellaneous expenses or inyong mga baon. So, pwede siyang ipasok as opportunity cost kasi may greater value siya on the future. Lalo na kapag naging professionals na kayo, nag-work na kayo. So, yung nagastos nyo nung kayo nag-aaral ay mapapabalik sa inyo ng mas on a higher value kapag nag-work na kayo sa mismong field. Ayan. And then next natin is yung ating life cycle cost. So kapag life cycle cost naman po, yung pinag-uusapan, ito yung summation of all the costs related to a product, structure, system, or service during its lifespan. Let's say bumili ka ng printer. And then itong printer na ito ay syempre merong purchase cost. So sa simula ng pagbili mo ng printer and then from the maintenance cost and yung mga magagastos mo sa ink, doon sa mismong paper, and then kung ito ay ginawa mo as a business, yung magiging profit mo sa printer business mo hanggang doon sa disposal cost na hindi mo nagagamitin yung binili mo na printer. Ito yung magiging life cycle cost. Kasi from the start of the purchase hanggang dun sa end ng iyong or dun sa lifespan or kung baga dun sa part na hindi mo na siya gagamitin, yun yung magiging total cost nung mismong product. So, naunawaan po ba yun? Okay. So ngayon, may sasagutan po kayo. Ayan. So ang gagawin naman dito is kagaya ng example kahapon na in-apply po yung analysis procedure sa engineering economics, and then identify nyo yung problem. Magbibigay kayo ng alternatives and criteria hanggang dun sa last step natin sa post-monitoring and post-evaluation. So, pasabi kapag okay na or na-screenshot nyo na kasi may next part pa yung problem or may next slide pa yung problem. So, isusulat po yan sa long bond paper with 1-inch margin visible. So, sasagutan po yan ngayon. Okay na ba? Pwede ko na i-next. Okay, so ito yung kadugsong. Okay, okay na pa. And then, ayan yung kadugsong. So, magpo-post ako ng assignment sa Google Classroom. Doon nyo po isasubmit. So, pwede nyo na pong simulan ngayon. And then later ay try nating i-discuss yung problem. So, kahit hindi nyo nakopyahin pala yung problem and